President Muhammadu Buhari is in London on a private visit. World leaders advised to recalibrate political commitment and investments to tackle the menace of malaria as the world marks Malaria Day. In our discussion segments shall take a cursory look at flooding challenges in Port Harcourt. Hello and welcome to Panorama. I am Kendi Olale. Many thanks for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari is in London, United Kingdom, on a private visit. President Buhari left Abuja Thursday evening after a working visit to Maiduguri, Borno State, where he inaugurated some developmental project executed by Governor Kashim Shettima. He's expected back in the country on May 5th, 2019. President Muhammadu Buhari says the unique approach by Governor Kashim Shettima towards resuscitating education and other critical sectors of Borno State's economy is not only revolutionary but an appropriate countermeasure to the devastating effect of the Boko Haram insurgency. The president stated this while visiting the Shehu of Borno after inaugurating various educational, industrial, health, housing and road infrastructure projects executed by Shettima administration. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
For the people of Borno, one of the frontline states and worst hit by terrorism and insurgency, President Muhammadu Buhari is not only a symbol of hope and salvation, but indeed a messiah. To his credit, Boko Haram has not only been significantly degraded, but technically defeated in fulfillment of his promise, thereby providing the desired peaceful atmosphere for effective service delivery, which for long eluded the Kanuris. Consequently, Kashim Shettima stood to be counted as one of the best governors not only in Borno State but across Nigeria in terms of delivering people-oriented projects. Amongst those inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari were the Ibrahim Ali Industrial Park, housing 16 manufacturing plants aimed at enhancing the economy of the state and job creation. Also unveiled were 5 mega schools situated across Maiduguri metropolis, named after the president, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, former governors of the state, and other prominent personalities, including Alhaji Aliko Dangote and Babagana Kingibe. The schools, which have between 1,200 and 2,400 boarding facilities each, were part of the 40 constructed by the Shettima administration to provide free education to orphans as well as the unaccompanied children to the IDP camps in the state. President Buhari also inaugurated a radio diagnostic complex of the State Specialist Hospital, equipped with state-of-the-art facilities to turn around medical tourism and healthcare services in the state and the country. Similarly, the president unveiled a 3.1 billion naira housing estate of 246 apartments named Zanna Umar Mustafa Legacy Gardens, as well as the 1.7 billion naira Bolori Township Road of 8.5 kilometers. In the meantime, a befitting reception was accorded the Nigerian leader at the palace of the Shehu of Borno, where he gives his assessment on the scorecard of the Shettima administration.
I am pleased that Borno State government has taken advantage of the peace we have generated to achieve so much in housing, roads, agriculture, industry, and most significantly in education. Focusing on education is very imperative due to the peculiar security challenges posed by Boko Haram, whose ideology is dramatically opposed to Western education.
While promising sustained efforts towards ending insurgency, President Buhari also asked parents of the abducted schoolgirls still in captivity not to lose hope.
We will not give up on them. As president, as a Nigerian, and as a parent, I share the agony of every Nigerian whose loved ones are in the hands of abductors. Therefore, government will do the needful to successfully reunite these girls with their families.
Both Governor Kashim Shettima and the Shehu of Borno were full of appreciation to the president for his unprecedented support and assistance to the restoration of peace, as well as the remarkable growth and development of the state.
Never in the history of this country have we had a leader who had a passion and love for the people of Borno greater than President Muhammadu Buhari.
Moving on, the Nigerian Immigration Service, in conjunction with other security agencies, is enhancing strategy for 24-hour e-surveillance at the nation's land borders to checkmate smuggling and other illegal cross-border criminal activities. The Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Bello Dambazao, who stated this while briefing journalists shortly after the Federal Executive Council meeting, also said the memo demanding about 52 million naira for the project has been submitted. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports on this and other activities at the FEC meeting.
Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazo observes that the e-border surveillance is imperative, as it is practically impossible to physically man over 86 land borders, in addition to over 1,400 illegal routes.
In addition, the immigration has a rapid response squad, which is well trained and armed. But of course, that will carry out, response in accordance with, its capacity. But where this threat is big, this information is also passed, for instance, to the Air Force, to the police. They also have the capacity to respond. But we want to ensure that the capacity of the immigration to monitor our borders, so that the security of management of border can be 100% proof.
The minister adds that the project, which will gap over 52 billion naira, was initiated in 2012 and now reviewed and expected to be completed within the next 2 years. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu also submitted 2 memos seeking for the extension of consultancy services for the supervision of ongoing dam projects in Nigeria, including the Ingawa Dalaji Dam in Katsina State and Mangu Dam in Plateau State.
An augmentation of 111.6 million naira to raise the consultancy services fee from 104 million naira to 215 million naira plus, with an extension period of 24 months in favor of AIM Consultants.
I submitted 2 memos to memoranda to council, both under the National Social Investment.
It is still intact. We are going to have the budget service on the 22nd of May.
The Special Federal Executive Council meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the fact that the valedictory session of the Federal Cabinet will be scheduled for 22nd of May 2019 does not mean that the Cabinet will be dissolved on the same day. A statement by the Special Assistant to the Minister, Shehu Adeyemi, indicates that this is to clarify his earlier statement to State House correspondent after Thursday's Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, where the Minister said it is the prerogative of the President to dissolve the Cabinet anytime he chooses. Moving on to legislative matters, the Senate has resolved to invite the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, to brief it on the measures put in place to check cases of kidnapping in some parts of the country. This followed a motion to send a Senate delegation to the British High Commission to condole with the British government over the murder of its citizen Faye Moni in Kaduna. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports.
Hereby approved.
The Senate spent a larger part of its Thursday's plenary on cases of kidnappings in Kaduna State and its environs. The latest is on the murder of a Nigerian, Matthew Oguche, and a British citizen, Faye Moni, a humanitarian worker, who were murdered by armed bandits at a holiday resort in Kaduna. Senator Shehu Sani from Kaduna State painted a picture of the devastation caused by these bandits. The motion, supported by the entire Senate, made some recommendations which was adopted by the Senate.
All security agencies to deploy the use of drones and interceptors in tracking kidnappers asking for ransom.
And the service providers also, we must also ensure that nobody has a telephone number that is not registered. Mr. President, if we want to come with measures, let us come with measures to fight corruption, criminalize, or once again recriminalize corruption.
And of course here we'll be singing the song of decentralizing our police.
This we hope with this new acting IG and the good actions we have taken in the issue of the bills we passed on police reform and trust shows that we are ready to work very closely with them to see how they can be successful.
Senate advised the federal government to immortalize the late former Minister of Justice, Mamman Nasiri, by naming a national monument in his honor, as moved by Senator Ahmed Baba Keita.
To constitute and set a high-powered delegation to commiserate with the family, government, and people of Katsina State over the loss of this patriotic Nigerian.
They observed a minute silence in honor of the victims of Kaduna attack and late Mamman Nasiri. Still in plenary, the legislators advised authorities against proposed sale of National Theatre, Tafawa Balewa Square, and all other national monuments in Nigeria. The Federal Investor of Wukari Establishment Bill, Nigerian Film Commission, and the Nigerian Aeronautical Search and Rescue Bills, which the President had denied assent to, were reconsidered and passed.
The Senate is aware that the Technical Committee of the Senate had worked on Mr. President's observations.
Senate also passed the National Commission for Colleges of Education Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill, the Federal Cooperative Colleges Bill, and the Federal University of Education Katongara Establishment Bill, Niger State. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still on legislative matters, the House of Representatives is to set up another committee to investigate alleged non-remittance of stamp duty charges by Deposit Bank, running into trillions of naira. Correspondent Lami Ali reports that the matter came up at Thursday's plenary.
House members, while deliberating on the issue, expressed concern that since 2014, deposit money banks charge 50 naira stamp duty on certain transactions, but have failed to remit the amounts into the Federation accounts.
You are collecting stamp duties on revenue, and you are not remitting that what you collected to the government.
If you're a customer of any bank and you do 50 transactions exceeding 1,000 in a day, you are charged 50 naira per all of those transactions. And so you can now imagine how much this 50 naira will accumulate into at the end of the day.
The investigation is to be carried out within 4 weeks. Thursday's plenary passed 2 bills at second reading, while a report on the establishment of Federal Polytechnic Kwale Delta State was considered and adopted at Committee of the Whole. The lawmakers, following a motion from Representative Bode Ayorinde, paid glowing tribute on the late Olowo of Owo, Oba Folagbade David Olateru III, who died on the 17th of this month.
Oba Dr. Folagbade David Victor Olateru Olagbegi, the third CFR, lived a fulfilled life and impacted on so many lives in and outside our kingdom. A pragmatic Nigerian elder statesman, a lover and practitioner of peace, and a lawyer of high repute who has contributed so much to the legal profession and the country, at the same time upholding the rich cultural heritage of Nigeria.
No wonder most of us as students then referred to him as the great OO. So he was already great before he found greatness when he ascended to the throne of his ancestors.
We are here celebrating the death of one of the icons of the most powerful family in Yoruba land.
A minute's silence was observed in his honor. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching Panorama on the network service of the NTA. More news after this time out. Don't go away.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Thank you for being there. It's time now to join Mina in Port Harcourt for the discussion segment on Panorama. Hello, Mina.
Hello, Kende. Port Harcourt. The no pothole stance of the state government for roads in the Port Harcourt metropolis has no doubt engendered smooth vehicular movement in the city. However, the situation at the Mboba Ada George location junction at the slightest rain is creating a negative dimension to the posture. Movement and business activities are largely impeded by resistant flood water on the section of the road for a long time now. Correspondent Chidebere Onya reports that residents and business owners are appealing to relevant authorities to address the situation.
This is the usual situation at the Mboba Ada George location junction at the slightest drop of rain. It's worse with a downpour as floodwater gets almost as high as the median, stretching kilometers further down the Ada George road. Days after the rains, those who live and do business in and around the junction would have to contend with an unsightly resistant muddy water, which emits dangerous foul smell beyond incidental on business activities as well as human and vehicular movements.
But there's a big challenge here. Looking at the flood downstairs is a very big challenge to us, both people residing in this environment and we that are doing business here.
Self-help to desilt the blocked has not helped matters as they appeal for a more comprehensive intervention to address the menace.
But it is the gutter that is being blocked and it is not something individuals can do. So we are praying that by the special grace of God, the heat will be over and we will look into our case.
With the cohesive flood water already wearing and tearing the road, are reef that the situation will get worse in the coming months if unattended to. In Port Harcourt, Chidebere Onya, NTA News.
Well, our guest is Dr. Vincent Nwele, environmentalist. Institute of Natural Resources, Environment and Sustainable Development. Former head, Department of Geography and Environmental Management. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Panorama Doc.
Yes, thank you very much.
You can see from that report over there the situation in Port Harcourt here. In fact, it is a situation almost everywhere in Port Harcourt.
That's correct.
Is responsible for the flash floods in almost all areas of Port Harcourt.
Yeah, first and foremost, there's no comprehensive drainage master plan for the city of Port Harcourt, where this water would have been drained, taking into consideration all parts of the city. We don't have such in place. Moreover, where they are already blocked. And so there's no effort to drain, the drains already constructed by the government because they have nowhere to run to. Because if they were comprehensively planned, then where the water will empty into would be available. So when such is not in place, you have the... Secondly, we have increased torrential rainfall in this part of the world. And of course, there is rapid urbanization going on in Port Harcourt. Waterways are being blocked, buildings are being erected all over the place. And so the channels are being closed up. And so when the natural drainage are being closed up, what do you expect? Is a feedback mechanism from raindrop. So the feedback is a flash flood that I've been experiencing in all parts of Port Harcourt.
Okay, so what's the remedy now? Considering the fact that work has been done severally on these areas to no avail.
Yeah, until there is a comprehensive drainage master plan, where all the drains are connected and emptied into the natural drains, we cannot achieve, a complete absence of flood. And the government should create areas where no development should emanate from. Areas that are pathways of water should be demarcated and left and not to be developed, because of urbanization and the quest for land in Port Harcourt. So certain areas should be demarcated and left for, so that no development takes place in those areas.
Okay. As an environmentalist, it's very difficult to believe that government to do the needful here, but of course to address flooding in the state. Would you? What could be the impediment, and what do you advise as an environmentalist?
I want to say that there has to be the political will, from the part of the government to carry out this, because there are some buildings that have already been built. Those buildings should be brought down, and let those pathways, natural pathways of water, be cleared, so that when rain drops, they can easily run to the nearby, channels. Until we achieve that, the problem will persist.
And finally, as individuals, what we all of us have to play?
Yeah, for me, we individuals should stop buying land along waterways, because at the end of the day, these lands are reclaimed. Their heights are increased, and when their heights are increased above the roads, of course, when water wants to settle in those areas, come back to the roads. And I've also watched keenly the way people who sweep along the road and neighbors, those who live along these drains, empty things into, garbage into the drains, blocking the drains. So individuals should stop doing that. And if that takes place, and the problem will be reduced to a large
Thank you
extent.
so much, Doc. Thank you for your input.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we've been speaking with Dr. Vincent Nwele, who is an Assistant Director, Institute of Natural Resources, Environmental and Sustainable Development, and former head, Department of Geography and Environmental Management, University of Port Harcourt. It's now back to you, Kayde, for the rest.
Many thanks, Mina. Moving on, the war against hate speech and decisive statements plaguing the country has been declared as the Nigerian Television Authority and National Institute for Public Relations partnered to support the federal government in ending the menace. The collaboration took place at NTA's headquarters, Abuja. Ruth Aguale was there and our reports.
It's no news how hate speech, unguarded utterances, and statements instigate division and disaffection among the citizenry, leading to violence and eventually loss of lives and property. Experiences from the electioneering campaign show that so much damage can be done if issues of hate speech perpetrated on the social media are not quickly addressed. This is among reasons the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations seeks collaboration with the Nigerian Television Authority to inculcate the right attitude among people for peaceful coexistence.
We felt that we need to appeal to the conscience of Nigerians. The tonality of our language will be those that heal our wounds, will be those that binds us together.
The Executive Director of Marketing, Abdulhamid Dembos, who stood in for the Director General NTA, says the authority remains resolute in promoting national unity and cohesion in all its programming.
There will never come a time when the entire populace of this country will sit down to say, okay, we Nigerians will be changing from today. It has to start from the individual. Yeah. So the fact that we are lamenting on this means that we are ready for those changes.
Meanwhile, an arm of persons with special needs was also at NTA, preparatory to the United Nations Global Conference to address challenges of persons with disability.
It will be happening for the very first time in Africa. Is a UN organ that is set up to look at the issues of persons with disability.
To educate and entertain the general public on programs and all projects that are geared towards ensuring the protection of human rights.
The conference is expected to draw delegates from all countries around the world. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
And that's all on the last edition of Panorama for this week. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.